Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. Yeah, just about to do the park run here in Sheffield, the Endcliffe Parkrun. No filming of the race today, unfortunately. I was going to lie and say that I just wanted to concentrate on the race, and it's cold, too cold to hold the camera. But actually, I forgot the camera, so left it at my in-laws' house. So I'm not going to be doing that. But anyway, gives me a chance to concentrate on the race and see what I can do. So it's not the quickest course, this one, but we'll see. I mean, I've been drinking a lot and eating a lot over Christmas, so I'm not expecting the best, but there you go. I'm moaning again. So, and then, yeah, I've got, if you listened to my video yesterday, you'd know that I've got my Cielos on, and these are perfect for this kind of park run, whereby you've got like a bit of trail, a bit of tarmac, a bit of grass even. It's a kind of multi-terrain park run, this one, and it's a bit damp and cold today, so there'll be frosty bits, and it's got decent grip, so should be good. And I'll catch you later and let you know how it goes. See you later. Bye. So finished the Endcliffe Park, God, all over the place, park run, and I actually came, believe it or not, second, and I was closing in on the winner. Couldn't quite get him, but gave it my best shot. A really nice park run. I suspect it wasn't quite as competitive today because students weren't around, but yeah, loved it. Cielos, as always, did brilliantly. So yeah, anyway, I'll speak to you later. Bye bye. Just getting some coffees in my favourite park cafe in Sheffield, Endcliffe Park Cafe. I'm going for oats cappuccino. I'm going to really push the boat out to celebrate second. Anyway, yeah. One final note. Well, it might not be final, as you know me. Cielo's absolute rapid shoe, and for anyone who tells you they're not too heavy or they're not racing shoes, they're rubbish. You know, it felt so good to run in them today. They're still favourite, I think, for the London Marathon. I think they'll still be favourite, but the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2, and the Adios Pro 4 might have something to say about that, but we'll see. So Cielo's really good, particularly if you've got a route where there's a bit of trail, bit of grass, bit of tarmac, that kind of multi-terrain route. Really good for that. Anyway, see you later. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. I hope you had a really amazing Christmas. I hope you got all the presents, gifts that you wanted. Hope you got together with family and friends and drank as much as I did. I've drunk a hell of a lot over Christmas actually, but I think I needed it this year. I've eaten a lot as well. I've just done actually a run in my Prime X Strung 2s, and it's the longest I've done for a while actually. 10 miler. I haven't done more than that for quite a while now. So I'm starting to kind of try and get my legs used to this extra mileage again. I've been doing lots of 5Ks, 10Ks, but nothing too long. And now I'm start to look ahead to 2025 and the London Marathon and some of the other goals that I want to achieve. And it'd be good actually if you could put in the comments all the kind of running goals that actually you want to achieve next year, whether that be PBs and 5K, 10Ks, half marathons, whether it's just to run and lose weight or for your mental health, or whether it's just to get fitter in general. You put it in the comments, we can have a discussion around it. It's nice to get other people's views and opinions and goals. I understand some of people don't want to share that kind of thing, want to keep it to themselves, which is perfectly fine as well. I don't mind sharing my goals, so from the off. My main goals next year, we're not got there yet, Ed, will be to break 17 minutes in the 5K. I think if I can do that, then I'm getting close for my age group. I'm nearly 52 now, getting close to kind of national standard. You're not quite there, but I'm getting closer. So I need to get a lot lower, 16s. But if I can get into the kind of 16-minute area, then I can chip away at that next year. That'd be amazing for 5K. 10K, I think realistic is to try and dip under 35 minutes. The closest, I think I've got 35:30 at the moment, so I've still got a way to go to do that. But on a good day, once I've ditched, once I ditch this cold, I feel like that's achievable. The marathon, half marathon, would be next year to dip under 1 hour 20. This is the longest standing PB of mine that goes back 2 years now. I've not got close to it. The closest I've got to it actually, which is 1 hour 22, which I did at the Olympic Park, the run through Olympic Park half marathon. The closest I got to that was 1 hour 23 at the Hackney half. So my PB still stands at 122. So I'd like to go below 120 if possible. I've got a half in Battersea Park coming up very shortly, 4th of Jan. I'm not expecting to dip below 120 in that, but I'm expecting that to be a marker for me for next year. And I'm going to do more half marathons. I mean, one of the reasons I haven't PB'd in the half marathon for a while is I haven't been doing it. So that's one reason. And then marathon, I'd like to try and get below 2 hours 50. That's going to be a challenge for me. I always struggle at the marathon distance, but I'm going to give it my best shot in London. And then hopefully I'm going to qualify for New York. And if I do that, I don't think that's achievable at New York because it's just a lot harder route. But London, I think it is possibly achievable. So I'll give it my all in London to try and dip below that 2 hours 50 mark. So my running goals, apart from just generally getting fitter, stronger, leaner, and enjoying my running and get my mental state in a good place. I think at times this year I felt in certain park runs or races that mentally I was a bit beaten before I started. So it'd be nice to get more positive and really look forward to these races. And our last few, I've not really felt that, to be honest. I've kind of felt like, just get them over and done with, which is not the way really to be approaching any race, as we know. Talking of races, so I did the Endcliffe Park Parkrun in Sheffield, one of the biggest parkruns in Sheffield. There's normally around 800 people. There was less this week, around 600, and that's probably the reason I managed second place, if I'm being honest. I think the students were away, and they normally take a few of the top 10 places. Nevertheless, it's still, it was still a good achievement for me. I'm still not feeling all that good. So for me to get second, to run 18:15 on that route is pretty good. I think I can definitely dip under 18 on that parkrun. But I really like it actually. It's such a great parkrun if you get a chance to do it. Such a mixture of terrain on tarmac paths. Then you go down some muddy, tree roots, kind of, paths that are not really muddy, but muddy enough to make you think twice about your footing. And then there's some tight corners. There's running through trees, some woods, and then there's the kind of end bit which you end up on the grass, which can be a bit soggy. So all in all, it's a multi-terrain parkrun, and one where you really have to watch your footing a little bit when you're running at pace. So the ideal shoe for me for that type of parkrun is one of my favourites, as you know, the Cielo X1, and I use the shoe, at the weekend, to do that parkrun on Saturday, and it performed amazingly well through all the mud, through all the, the debris, the roots. It's a very, in my opinion, a very stable super shoe because of these wing plates here that kind of keep my foot locked. I never really feel like I'm wobbling either way with this foot. I think this kind of center path, technology where it keeps your foot nice and locked in, it works pretty well with this. Plus with the wide base, I think, and the kind of sturdiness of the shoe in general. It's not a flimsy shoe like, say, the Sky Paris or the Miro, the 361 degrees Miro that I used recently. It's quite a sturdy shoe. It's a 260 odd gram shoe, so it's heavier than those two shoes that I mentioned before. But because of that, I think it allows you to kind of hit the ground harder. It's very durable, like I said, stable. And I feel like with this shoe on, I can tackle more a variety of terrains than I could in this shoe, the Sky Paris, A6 Metaspeed Sky Paris, or the Chinese brand, the 361 degrees Miro, or even actually the Saucony Endorphin Elite, which is another really fast shoe, lighter shoe as well. So, but I think, to be honest, I find that the Cielo X1 for me is the most versatile super racing shoe out there. I think it can do multiple terrains. It can allow you to pick up pace. I think it's a little bit more stable than most of the shoes I've mentioned there. Although I do find this shoe, the Endorphin Elite, very stable as well, actually. The difference is I find this far more comfortable to run in than I do this shoe. And the aggressive rocker on this, you can see how it goes up so aggressively. Means that your toes take a bit of a battering in this because they're at an unnatural angle for a lot of the race. So 5K, 10K, fine. But I found at the marathon, towards the end of the marathon, my feet were getting a bit of a battering in this shoe. But we'll talk about the marathon distances and stuff like that later. But in terms of versatility, 100% my favorite shoe out there. I'll pick this up anytime when I'm not sure about the terrain that I'm going to run in. I want something that's versatile that can cope with anything. I'm going to pick this shoe. The grip's pretty good. It's not, the best, but it's equal of all those shoes that I've mentioned. The only grip that I think is better than this potentially is a Puma grip, and also this is the Prime X here, strung, and also the Continental rubber grip I think is probably better, but it's this is the kind of the tier below that, and it's still pretty good. And like I said, the wide base, I really like landing here and rolling forward. It's got a nice rocker. It is aggressive, but it's nice, soft and comfortable with that, so it doesn't feel too harsh on your foot. I don't notice the weight because I get really good energy return from this shoe. So again, I'm not one of these people that's so preoccupied with weight. I'm more bothered about how it feels, how stable it is, how comfortable it is, how much energy return, how propulsive it is, if it suits my foot strike, where I land about here, I can roll forward. This shoe actually suits, I think, pretty much any foot strike. It's got a wide enough heel to be good enough for heel striking and stable enough. Mid-foot strikers, if you're landing about here, you're going to hit that nice bump there and rock forward. And then for me, on the forefoot, I get a nice springy roll through when I land just about here, near where the plate is, as the wing bit of the plate is. So all in all, in terms of the park run, it wasn't my fastest time. Well, it was my fastest time at Endcliffe Park, actually. So there again, it shows how quick a shoe this is. I've run that park run for about 4 times in various shoes, and this definitely was my fastest time. Wasn't a time that I think I can't improve on. I definitely can, but I can improve on it with this shoe, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of kind of undulations and going quite steep downhills and then some uphills. There's some tight cornering. You cope with all of that. Honestly, I can't really fault this shoe. It feels so nice to run in. It protects your legs. Soon after the park run had finished, my legs felt absolutely fine. The day after I did a bit of a run, my hamstrings were perfectly fine. So all in all, I think, really good 5K park run shoe, particularly if it's kind of multi-terrain and you're not quite sure what to expect. If you put these on, it'll cope with everything. The wet conditions. It was a little bit frosty actually. It was cold up in Sheffield, so this coped with some of the frosty bits as well. So kind of all I want to say in terms of this shoe, in terms of the park run at least. What I will say is, in terms of the distances I'm running it this year, the only shoes that has beaten this shoe over 5K are actually these shoes here. So I had these in particular brought out because the Sky Paris, the Miro, the 361 degrees Miro, the Primex Strung Original, and the Endorphin Elite version 1. All of these I ran a quicker park run time. But with that in mind though, in all of these, I ran that quicker kind of park run 5K time on a faster route than I've run this one in. So I ran this one is my fastest time of the year at 17:13, and I ran it at Burgess. This did 17:18 at Burgess. As we know, I ran this recently in Burgess at 17:25, I think it was. And then this one, actually the Endorphin Elite is the only shoe actually that in Oak Hill Park, which is where I've set my fastest time in this shoe, beat this shoe actually. I think it's ran pretty much 17:30 at Oak Hill, and this was at 17:36 if I remember right. So pretty comparable. In terms of 10K, it's compared pretty well. I think the only shoes that have beaten this over 10K are actually the Sky Paris and the Endorphin Elite. So other than that, and the Alpha Fly, I haven't got here actually, Alpha Fly 3. But this came in 4th place for 10K. In terms of half marathon, this holds my best half marathon time for last year, 1 hour 23 at the Hackney Half. And in terms of marathon, this holds my best marathon time of last year, beating the Endorphin Elite. I set 2 hours 56 in Berlin and 2 hours 55 in Chicago. And bear in mind that Chicago came 2 weeks after the Berlin Marathon. It's pretty impressive that I was able to run that kind of time with only 2 weeks break in this shoe. So I think you kind of understanding what I'm getting at here. This shoe performs well across the spectrum of distances. So for me, and I kind of round things up now, this is the most versatile super shoe of the lot. And there's some good shoes I've mentioned there, shown there. And for me, this is the number one in terms of versatility across all the distances. A special mention to the Primex Strung 2 as well. I think the Primex Strung 2 are kind of similar in that respect, but they're very good over all the distances. The only thing I would say is this one could be, for a lot of people, particularly heel strikers, very unstable over a marathon, half marathon distance. And I think the Primex Strung 2, whilst it's a really good shoe, one which I love a lot, it is a heavier shoe, over 300 grams. So over the marathon distance, that might start to take its toll a little bit on you. So I think with all that in mind, I'm going to say that the Hoka Cielo X1 for me is my most versatile racing shoe. Whether it's my favourite racing shoe of the year, that you'll have to wait and see. Hopefully I'll have a video out on that in a day or two. But certainly the most versatile racing shoe. And I highly recommend anyone wanting a durable, stable, fast, comfy, bouncy, fun to use shoe, I firmly recommend this shoe. The only thing I would remember to tell people is the version 1.5 or 2, whatever you want to call it, is coming out soon. And that's going to be 40 grams lighter than this, with potentially a better upper. Although I do like the upper and the laces and everything else everyone hates about this shoe. So you might want to hold fire and get that shoe. But if you can get this at a knockdown price because that's coming out, then there's an option for you as well. But yeah, I would say I highly recommend this to everyone. You're going to end up buying a really fun, comfy, bouncy, amazing shoe, in my opinion, to run in. So that's all I want to say today. Like I said, I'm wishing you a happy Christmas. I hope you had a happy Christmas, and I'm wishing you a happy New Year, and get drunk or do whatever you want to do New Year. Just let your hair down and enjoy yourself. And let's hit the New Year together, and let's go and smash those running goals together. And remember to put them in the comments. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.